So I want to talk to the RULivingYou viewers. That's pretty conceited. Maybe one day that'll be worth saying. But anyway, I appreciate anyone who watches or subscribes. Thank you so much. I feel blessed to have 21 subscribers today. Anyway, so I have my 20s were a nightmare. And all because of the choices that I made in my late teens and 20s. And, up into my 30s, I was with a woman from 17 to 27, like a little over 10 years. And this woman loved me, like, deeply, cared about me. And I did too, but unfortunately, I was young, immature, and I took it for granted. But this girl, like, cooked for me, did my laundry, bought me things, basically just wanted to be with me all the time. And, we had great chemistry, and we were in love for a period of time. We were together for 10 years. But I fucked it all up. Pardon my language. I totally was just immature and just thought that you can find something like that, like essentially true love, just anywhere. Like you just pick it. We didn't have things in common. We weren't bonding in the way that I thought I wanted to, but I was just a naive, moronic 20-year-old kid. And I just should have realized what I had and how great of a woman that she is, and just manned up. But I couldn't. I didn't. And I had to go through losing her and having a, terrible decade, essentially. I mean, it wasn't a full decade, but, basically lost my mind, and it was pretty down and out for the better part of 5 years after this relationship. And, I didn't have a real job until I was, except for like a few months in high school. I didn't have a real job until like I was 26 or 27, because I sold pot and I grew pot, like late teens, early 20s. And so I started playing poker when the relationship was almost over. I moved back to the East Coast. She was in Raleigh. She wanted to be closer to her family. She moved from Colorado. She followed me out to Boulder, then moved back to the East Coast. So I moved out, was playing poker online, having pretty mediocre results after I learned how to play. I lost some money in the beginning, but just not having good enough results. Not reinvesting my winnings to play bigger was probably part of the problem. But got introduced to business opportunities, online MLM companies at that time, and basically told myself one day that there's a way that you can, find something online to do some sort of activity, like create something, do something, and then you can just go and money will just come into an account while you sleep. I said that there's a way to do this. And so I set off looking for that, through the channel of online business opportunities, MLM companies, digital products, ebooks, business opportunities, whatever. And realized after a while that I hate most of that stuff, like most people do. I never was a guy that would like be running around to my friends or family trying to pitch some business opportunities, but I could always promote these things, sign people up in these things, but no, people wouldn't do anything. And a lot of the products were basically hot air, not worth what you were paying for them. You're asking someone to buy some questionable thing that is not even that great, and you can buy somewhere else for cheaper, and just buy it and then sell it to someone so you can make money. It's just a not a good proposition. And I was selling digital like info products, something called ClickBank products. clickbank.com, and using YouTube traffic in 2010, 2011, after having gotten into this in 2006, and started making low four figures a week. And after trying for 5 or 6 years and then making low four figures a week for like a couple months in a row, that was a pretty huge, like, I was blown away. I was in a state of bliss or whatever. Like, I finally had achieved something, but I started running into issues with YouTube, and competitors were flagging videos because they were getting more views than them. And like, I have 5 channels with thousands of subscribers on them, 6, 7, 8, 9 channels that I don't even have access to anymore. And I had my main channel shut down. The money went to zero overnight. And I basically lied in bed for 6 weeks, because at that point I decided that a lot of the stuff I didn't believe in. I didn't want to like actively try and start promoting it all over again. And so I kind of just slowly walked away from the whole thing, and started basically doing delivery in Boulder for a company called Hungry Buffs. That was not a great experience for a lot of different reasons. Basically, it would give me chest pains over stress, for one reason or another, doing 60 hours of delivery in Boulder, Colorado, putting like 4,500 miles a month on a Subaru WRX, and dating a little later, met an absolutely, crazy beautiful chick, and we were spending 5, 6 nights a week together, going to hot springs, Crested Butte, like, just, we were like kind of inseparable. But then I realized that she had a lot of emotional and trauma kind of issues, and great girl, really sweet, but manipulative and very unhappy. When I got my DUI, I got a warehouse job, but then I lost it pretty quick because I was laid off because the company lost the contract. And then I started doing gigs on Craigslist, which I have another video about. I actually, I'm not doing that as much right now. I get calls from people, especially this time of the year, through winter, through fall. Like, I just did some weeding and a little bit of gardening type work, outdoor work, for like an older hippie couple that lives next to these people, Duncan and Marjorie, that have given me thousands and thousands of dollars of work and referred me to thousands and thousands of dollars of work over the last 3 years. So a lot of the times the work just calls me, and like on Saturday I'm going to work for Duncan. And when I started doing that, that's the point. That's like the whole lead in. That's when I started to realize that, looking externally for answers to the problems in our life, to sustain ourselves, to sustain ourselves and solve the problems of our life. If we rely on external sources to do that, I feel like it's only inevitable that you are going to become disappointed, disillusioned, unhappy with that solution. That when you create the most long-term effective solutions are ones that come from within. And the experience of walking away from my own business, so to speak, and then getting on a hamster wheel to work 60 hours a week, doing food delivery in Boulder, which is a beautiful place to do food delivery. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a bunch of rich, lazy people in a tiny town. Okay, I could make really good money, like $1,200 a week, doing delivery, albeit 60 hours. But I'm on this hamster wheel because the 2 days that I'm not working a week, I would either be sleeping or drinking or doing drugs. Like, just, that was it. So any of the extra money eventually was just always gone. And I got a WRX, so I was blowing tons of money on gas. And anyway, when I started doing the gigs, it wasn't the easiest thing at first, but especially not the first year. But once I built up a network and met people like Duncan, I did meet him in that first season, 2016 summer, after I've been doing gigs for like 6 months off and on and then more steadily. Things just got better. I'm making cash money. I'll just leave the rest to you. Living in a really nice town where it's much easier if you're making cash money. And I'm doing work. It's a terrible thing how today's workers are expendable. I used to go to this bagel shop occasionally, get an egg and cheese sandwich in the morning, and I feel terrible for people that work at bagel shops and sub shops. I've worked in Jersey Mike's before. I know how miserable it is to clean someone's bathroom, stock someone's refrigerator and other whatever, mop someone's floor, run a line, take someone's order, make sandwiches, and run a cash register. What a thankless job that really is. It was just 11:11 on the video when I finished that thought. That I thank goodness that I do not do anything. And I feel for the people that are in these situations. And sadly enough, so often you can see it and feel it in their attitude and the way that they address you, that they're absolutely miserable and they're like suffering in this existence. And I know because I've worked at a Jersey Mike's. I've worked at a local fast food joint in Raleigh. I've had, I've dug window wells. I've done moving gigs in 5-degree weather. I have worked so hard, some seasons, 2017, 2018, that I was eating 4 meals a day and still losing weight. Riding my bike after a DUI, working like 50, 55 hours a week, going to labor work, moving gigs, construction help, shoveling rocks on mulch, landscaping. But I'm reaching into the ground and I'm providing a service that people want, that people appreciate, and I'm getting paid, and people appreciate it enough that they're referring me to their neighbors, their friends. I'm getting calls from random people all the time. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? You did this for me, or you did this for my neighbor last year. Can you come over here and do this? And it's because I looked for within to solve my problem. And the same thing with business. I don't do business opportunities. I find a legitimate product or service and I middleman it to people that need it. That's essentially, there is going to be other business ventures in my life, but I don't join someone else's business opportunity because inevitably they change something, the product, the compensation, the website, the conversion dip dies off, and you're just left back at square zero needing to solve the problem yourself anyway. So that's the point of this video. The best, most effective long-term solutions come from within. And that's why I'm building an online income. And that's why it pays me while I sleep. And that's why I don't look for other people to solve my problems anymore. Because it's just a futile, short-term, unsatisfying experience. I'm living me. Are you living you?